You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. This powerful quote from James Clear's Atomic Habits encapsulates the book's central message. Success is rarely achieved through grand, sweeping changes, but rather through the small, seemingly inconsequential actions we take every day. When compounded over time, these actions lead to extraordinary results. This idea challenges our conventional obsession with goal setting and shifts the focus toward the habits and systems that drive our progress, or hinder it. James Clear is a writer and public speaker specializing in habits, decision-making, and continuous improvement. His motivation for writing Atomic Habits stemmed from a desire to bridge the gap between research and practical application. Drawing from fields such as psychology, neuroscience, and behavioral economics, he distills complex ideas and findings into actionable strategies that anyone can use to create positive change in their lives. Clear's belief in the profound impact of small changes is also rooted in his personal experience. After suffering a devastating neurological injury in high school that left him fighting for his life, he rebuilt his identity and capabilities through incremental improvements. His journey from recovery to becoming a leading voice in personal development serves as the backbone of this book. Understanding habits is essential for achieving personal growth because they form the foundation of our daily lives. Habits dictate how we spend our time, the decisions we make, and ultimately, the person we become. According to James Clear, the habits we consistently follow not only shape our outcomes, but also reinforce our identity. If you want to become a healthier, more productive, or more fulfilled individual, the secret lies in changing the small actions you take consistently rather than waiting for a miraculous transformation. Clear emphasizes that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just as money multiplies through compound interest, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. By focusing on the process of forming good habits and breaking bad ones, Atomic Habits provides a blueprint for anyone looking to unlock their potential, one small step at a time. This book is not merely about productivity hacks or fleeting motivation. It's about mastering the systems and principles that underpin lasting personal growth. Clear invites readers to embrace the power of tiny changes and use them to transform their lives. Because, as he reminds us, small habits don't add up. They compound. The habit loop. At the core of every habit is a predictable and repeatable process known as the habit loop. Understanding this loop is essential for creating new habits and breaking old ones. According to James Clear, the habit loop consists of 4 stages: cue, craving, response, and reward. These elements interact to drive all habitual behavior, whether positive or negative. 1. Cue. The cue is the trigger that initiates the habit. It is the first indication that we should act. Cues can take various forms, such as a specific time of day, a location, an emotional state, or even the presence of certain people or objects. For example, walking into your kitchen in the morning might trigger the habit of making coffee. 2. Craving. Cues induce changes in the brain that create a desire for the reward of an action. This desire is the craving. Craving represents the motivating force behind habits. In the coffee example, the craving isn't for brewing coffee, but for the alertness and warmth that a cup provides. Without a craving, there is no motivation to act, and the habit loop stalls. 3. Response. The response is the action or behavior performed as a result of the cue and craving. It is the habit in action. How you respond depends on your level of motivation, skill, and the effort you believe is required. In this case, brewing a pot of coffee becomes the response aimed at satisfying the craving. 4. Reward. The reward is the final step in the habit loop. It is the positive outcome of our action that reinforces the habit and makes you want to repeat it. The reward fulfills your craving and teaches your brain that this action is worth remembering and repeating. In our coffee example, the reward for brewing coffee is the energizing effect of the caffeine. Habits persist because the brain learns to predict the reward and associates it with the preceding steps. When this loop is repeated consistently, it strengthens the habit. Over time, the habit loop becomes automatic, requiring less conscious effort. Understanding the habit loop enables us to intentionally design habits. By identifying and manipulating each component, adjusting cues, reinforcing rewards, or creating stronger cravings, we can shape our behaviors to align with our goals. Similarly, we can disrupt bad or undesirable habits by breaking the loop at any stage. For instance, to stop late-night snacking, you could remove the cue by keeping unhealthy food out of sight, or replace the response by drinking tea instead of eating. Mastering the habit loop is the foundation of effective habit formation and the first step towards sustainable personal change. Clear's framework makes it possible to turn abstract desires into concrete, repeatable actions. The 4 laws of behavior change. To make atomic habits more practical, James Clear introduces the 4 laws of behavior change as a framework for building good habits and breaking bad ones. Each law provides strategies that can be applied to nearly all areas of life, from health and productivity to relationships and personal development. The first law: make it obvious. The first step to forming habits is awareness. Habits begin with cues that trigger behavior. To build good habits, we need to make these cues visible and noticeable. It is also important to identify existing habits and the cues that trigger them. Suppose you want to start journaling. For instance, keep your journal and pen on your pillow. At the end of the day, seeing them acts as a cue to write. James Clear provides strategies for making cues more obvious. Habit scorecard. Write down your daily routines and assess whether each habit is positive, negative, or neutral. Habit stacking. Build new habits by anchoring them to existing routines. Pair a new habit with an established one. For example, after brushing my teeth, I will meditate for 2 minutes. This leverages the established pattern of brushing your teeth as a cue for meditation. Implementation intentions. Plan specific actions in advance. Be specific about when and where you'll perform a habit. I will action at time in location. For instance, I will exercise at 7 a.m. in the living room. Environment design. Structure your environment to highlight cues for desired behaviors and hide triggers for undesirable ones. If you want to eat healthier, place fruits on the counter and keep junk food out of sight. If you want to drink more water, place a water bottle on your desk as a visual cue. By making cues more obvious, we can become more mindful of our habits and make better choices. The second law: make it attractive. Habits are more likely to stick when they are appealing or enjoyable. Dopamine plays a key role in this process. It motivates us by associating the habit to positive emotions and rewards. For example, if you want to start exercising, buy workout clothes that excite you or join a fitness group where others encourage and support your progress. To make a habit more desirable, we can use several strategies. Temptation bundling. Pair a habit you need to do with something you already enjoy. For example, only watch your favorite TV show while folding laundry. Reframe your mindset. Focus on the benefits of a habit rather than the effort it requires. Instead of thinking, I have to work out, rephrase it to, I get to improve my health and energy. Join a motivating community. Surround yourself with people who practice the habits you want to adopt. The support of a community can make these habits feel more attractive. By enhancing the appeal of habits, we can increase our motivation to engage in them. The third law: make it easy. Habits are more likely to stick when they are simple and require minimal effort. According to James Clear, most people fail not due to a lack of motivation, but because they make habits too difficult to start. To simplify habits, focus on reducing friction and removing barriers to action. For instance, if you want to meditate, download a meditation app and set a timer for just 5 minutes. This will make it easier to start. Here are some strategies to make habits easier to perform. The 2-minute rule. Start a habit by making it take less than 2 minutes to complete. For instance, instead of committing to a 30-minute run, begin with just putting on your running shoes. Prime your environment. Your surroundings heavily influence your habits. Arrange your environment to support desired behaviors and make good habits easier to follow. For example, if you want to read more, place books in accessible areas like your bedside table or living room. Automation. Utilize tools and systems to make habits effortless. For instance, set up automatic transfers to save money, or use meal prep services to make healthier eating easier. By simplifying habits, we can reduce the friction that prevents us from engaging in them. The fourth law, make it satisfying. Humans are wired to repeat behaviors that feel rewarding. To reinforce good habits, we need immediate positive feedback. Celebrating small wins can help reinforce positive behaviors, making habits more likely to stick. If you're trying to save money, for example, consider transferring $10 to a reward fund each time you skip eating out. Watching the fund grow reinforces the habit of cooking at home. Here are some strategies for making habits more satisfying. Use habit trackers. Visually track your progress, such as marking an X on a calendar for each day you complete a habit. This creates a sense of accomplishment and motivates you to maintain your streaks. Immediate rewards. Celebrate small victories by pairing habits with small, tangible rewards. For example, treat yourself to a piece of chocolate after completing a study session. Accountability partners. Sharing your goals with someone who can keep you accountable increases your chances of success. Consider finding a buddy with similar goals for mutual support. Never miss twice. Commit to consistency, even if it means doing the bare minimum. If you miss a workout, ensure you return to the gym the next day. This helps keep you on track without dwelling on setbacks. By making habits more satisfying, we can increase our motivation to repeat them. Breaking bad habits, the inverse laws. Conversely, to break bad habits, the 4 laws can be applied in reverse. 1. Make it invisible. Remove or minimize cues that trigger bad habits. 2. Make it unattractive. Diminish the appeal of bad habits by associating them with negative consequences. Reframe your mindset accordingly. 3. Make it difficult. Increase the friction of performing a bad habit to make it harder to indulge. 4. Make it unsatisfying. Remove the satisfaction derived from performing bad habits and introduce negative consequences instead. Let us see the 4 laws of behavior change in action using an example of building a reading habit. Let's say you want to read more. Here's how to apply the 4 laws to achieve this. Make it obvious. Place books in visible spots around your home. Set a cue like, I will read for 10 minutes after breakfast. Make it attractive. Join a book club where you can discuss what you're reading and look for books in genres you enjoy. Make it easy. Start with just 1 page or listen to an audiobook if reading feels overwhelming. Use a bookmark to help you pick up where you left off. Make it satisfying. Keep a reading log or treat yourself to a small reward after completing a certain number of pages or books. By combining these laws, you can effectively build and maintain a reading habit. Clear's framework ensures that habit formation becomes an empowering process rather than a struggle. The power of incremental growth. The 1% improvement concept. One of the most compelling ideas in Atomic Habits is the concept of 1% improvement, which illustrates how small, consistent actions can lead to extraordinary results over time. James Clear emphasizes that success is not about massive, sudden breakthroughs. It's about making tiny changes every day. The mathematics of incremental growth is straightforward yet profound. If you improve by just 1% each day for a year, you will be 37 times better by the end of that year. Conversely, if you decline by 1% each day, your progress will dwindle to nearly 0. The key takeaway is that habits compound. Much like interest on money, small actions can lead to significant outcomes over time. Imagine you're trying to improve your fitness. Instead of jumping into an intense workout routine right away, you decide to do just 1 push-up a day. The improvement may seem negligible at first, but it builds momentum and lays the groundwork for future growth. Over time, that 1 push-up could evolve into a full workout and ultimately contribute to a healthier, fitter lifestyle. James Clear argues that concentrating on these small improvements keeps the process manageable and sustainable. Big changes often lead to burnout, while tiny, consistent actions become part of your identity. The beauty of this approach lies in its simplicity. Every small step forward compounds into meaningful progress. Dealing with setbacks. Setbacks are inevitable in any journey of change. Clear advises adopting a mindset that views setbacks as part of the process, rather than as failures. The key is to get back on track as quickly as possible after experiencing a setback. He also warns against trying to be perfect. Instead, focus on maintaining long-term consistency, even if that progress isn't perfect. It's natural to miss a day now and then. What matters is to avoid missing 2 consecutive days. Develop a reset plan for when you falter and accept that imperfection is part of the process. The role of identity in habits. James Clear argues that sustainable habit change is rooted in transforming your identity rather than merely chasing outcomes. The most effective way to change your habits is to concentrate on who you want to become, not just on what you want to achieve. This is because behavior stems from identity. True change arises from aligning your habits with your sense of self, making them feel natural and requiring less willpower to maintain. Each action you take is a vote you cast for the kind of person you want to become. For example, rather than saying, "I want to lose weight," you might say, "I am a healthy person." Every small action you take in that direction reinforces that identity. Consider someone trying to quit smoking. If they say, "I'm trying to quit," their identity remains tied to being a smoker. However, if they declare, "I don't smoke," they embrace a new identity that strengthens their resolve. The power of mindset. Mindset shapes how we approach habits. A fixed mindset emphasizes talent and inherent ability, while a growth mindset values effort and learning. Clear's philosophy aligns with the growth mindset, encouraging readers to see habits as a pathway to incremental improvement rather than perfection. This approach emphasizes process over results. Focus on the daily habits that lead to success, rather than obsessing over the end goal. For instance, instead of fixating on losing 20 pounds, prioritize eating nutritious meals and exercising regularly. But while at it, recognize and celebrate your progress, no matter how small, as success builds confidence and momentum. And rather than viewing setbacks as failures, consider them opportunities to learn and adjust your approach. A student struggling with math might adopt the mindset of, "I'm learning to improve my math skills," instead of thinking, "I'm bad at math." This shift in perspective motivates persistence and resilience, even in the face of difficulty. Replacing self-defeating thoughts with empowering ones can help reframe challenges as opportunities for growth. The importance of systems. With systems, James Clear presents a transformative idea. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. While goals provide direction, systems create the framework needed to achieve them. Systems focus on the process rather than the outcome, making success inevitable over time. But what are systems? According to Clear, systems are the routines and processes you implement to progress toward your goals. For example, a goal may be to write a book. A system would be writing for 30 minutes every day. A goal may be to get fit. A system would be working out 3 times a week and meal prepping on Sundays. Goals are temporary, but systems are ongoing. Once you achieve a goal, it's easy to let your efforts slip, but a good system ensures that you continue to improve. Moreover, systems focus on factors within your control, your habits and effort, rather than external results. Consider a person who wants to improve their finances. Instead of aiming to save $10,000, they can create a system where 10% of their income is automatically transferred to a savings account every month. This system ensures progress over time without requiring constant decision-making. When identity, mindset, and systems align, habits become effortless and deeply ingrained. Small changes, big impact. As we reflect on the principles of atomic habits, one truth becomes undeniable. Your habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. The choices you make today, no matter how small, will define the person you become tomorrow. In Atomic Habits, James Clear offers not just a framework for building better habits, but also provides a roadmap for crafting a life filled with purpose, growth, and achievement. Yet the power of habits extends beyond personal success. Imagine the ripple effects if more of us embraced the 1% improvement principle, not only for ourselves but also for our communities and the world at large. A daily commitment to small, positive actions could transform not just our lives but the environments we live in. Here's the challenge. What identity will you claim today? Will you be the kind of person who values consistency over perfection, who views setbacks as stepping stones, and who leverages systems to achieve their dreams? The answers lie in the tiny choices you make from moment to moment. So, ask yourself, what's one habit I can start today that aligns with my vision of who I want to become? How can I design my environment to make that habit inevitable? And most importantly, what kind of legacy will my habits leave behind? Remember, you don't have to be the victim of your habits. You can be the architect of them. The power to change lies within you, waiting to be unlocked through small, deliberate actions. Start now. Start small. Because in the end, it's not just about achieving goals. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, one habit at a time. So, what habit will you be building today?